All right, let's jump started into this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a piece of source material that is, quite honestly, a total roller coaster. It's a text that practically gives you whiplash. It starts out by detailing these incredibly specific, ancient superstitions about human character based on physical traits, and then it rapidly pivots all the way over to issuing strict, modern legal warnings about personal rights. It is a massive contradiction, and we're going to break down exactly what this text is actually presenting to us. So let's get into it. The source kicks things off by clearly defining its central concept. It takes the word characterless, or charitrahin in Hindi, and establishes exactly how it's using it. Interestingly, it explicitly applies this definition to any person, man or woman, who forms a romantic or physical relationship with someone else while they already have a spouse or lover. So right out of the gate, the text makes it crystal clear this whole concept is fundamentally about stepping outside the bounds of an existing marriage or committed relationship. Now, before it gets into anything too wild, the text initially tries to spot this lack of character through everyday behavioral traits. Things you might notice in domestic life. It points to warning signs like a partner constantly going out without a real reason, or just making up endless excuses. It also flags openly disrespecting the spouse over the little things and constantly bickering with family members. Plus, it highlights a classic red flag. Words and thoughts just not matching up, essentially saying one thing to your face but thinking another, all while maintaining relationships with multiple male friends. At this point, the source is really just painting a picture based on daily observable conduct. The shift to physical superstitions. And right here is where the text pivots dramatically. It completely drops the behavioral psychology and starts drawing heavily on ancient texts like the Chanakya Niti, claiming that a person's inner nature can actually be judged just by looking at highly specific physical traits. This is where we see the absolute core of the source's mythological claims. The text lists off these incredibly specific physical traits that are supposedly direct links to infidelity or bad omens. Get this, it actually claims a long forehead is a bad omen for the brother-in-law, or that a heavy lower waist or a big belly is somehow inauspicious for the husband or the father-in-law. It doesn't stop there either. It goes on to state that women who are very tall and have hair above their lips are unfaithful, that big yellow teeth means someone is absolutely untrustworthy and seeking outside relationships, and that highly hairy ears, well, those are apparently a guaranteed sign of a deceitful person who is destined to ruin the home. It is hyper-specific. And if you thought that was detailed, the source even drills down into specific foot anomalies. It literally claims that if a toe doesn't touch the ground when walking, or if the ring toe is longer than the big toe, it's a surefire indicator of an untrustworthy, constantly changing nature. Furthermore, it explicitly states that an excessively thick back of the leg is highly inauspicious and will just bring constant unrest to the family home. The sheer level of physical detail this text pulls from these ancient beliefs is honestly quite staggering. The unexpected reversal, modern ethics. Now brace yourself, because this is where the source material takes a massive, totally unexpected turn. Right after laying out all those ancient physical superstitions, the text completely reverses its tone. We are looking at a massive contradiction here. On one hand, you have the traditional judgment we literally just talked about, the idea that you can assess a woman's entire character just by inspecting her teeth, her toes, or her ears. But then, almost out of nowhere, the source suddenly pivots to modern rights. It issues a stark warning that demeaning women or trying to restrict them is entirely unacceptable. It states point blank that women have every right to choose their own path for personal fulfillment, and that judging them in any derogatory way actually violates their fundamental human rights. The real kicker is this direct quote from the text. Listen closely to this. Attempting to catch women on your own or defaming their character is both illegal and unethical and can cause them harm. Okay, so the source strictly warns the audience against acting on the very suspicions and physical judgments that the earlier part of the text just spent all that time encouraging. It completely shifts gears and draws a very hard, thoroughly modern legal boundary. So instead of using a tape measure and superstitions to judge someone, the source wraps up by advising highly practical, communicative steps if you actually have genuine relationship concerns. It recommends just speaking directly to the person about their beliefs and principles. And if there are actual real issues, it suggests seeking assistance from family members, reaching out to support organizations invested in well-being, or simply consulting legal representatives to sort it out the right way. It is an absolutely incredible structural shift, right? Going from inspecting physical omens to advocating for modern legal mediation, all within a single source text. So I want to leave you with this question to ponder today. How do we actually reconcile content that simultaneously promotes these deeply traditional physical judgments alongside such strict modern ethical boundaries? Does mixing ancient physical superstitions with modern legal rights actually offer viewers clarity, or does it really just create a whole lot of confusion? Thanks so much for exploring this fascinating explainer with us today.